Good afternoon. You are listening to Health and Living. I'm Lee Chui Lin. Doctor2U is a doctor house call app with which you can request a fully licensed doctor on demand to your home, office, or hotel in under 60 minutes. It's been operating since October 2015 and has more than 700 doctors on its panel. Keegan Flynn, its CFO, joins me to share about the convenience of house call doctors. Welcome to the show, Keegan.
Thank you for having me.
So what is Doctor2U and what problems are you trying to solve?
Well, I think you gave a good intro there, but like you said, we're an on-demand mobile app. Essentially, we're trying to be Uber for doctors. So, you download our app on iOS or Google Play, and you press a button, we guarantee a doctor to your door within 60 minutes. And there are a few problems that we're trying to solve here. The first one is just kind of the general inconvenience of having to go to a clinic or hospital. You generally have to go during office hours, take time off work, get stuck in traffic, and work around doctor's schedule. And the next one is kind of the lack of urgent care options. So if it's midnight or on a weekend and you really need to see a doctor now, a lot of times the only option is to go to the emergency room. So we want to give kind of an alternative to that where, it's obviously a very unpleasant experience. Having to go to the emergency room, you have to wait hours and it can be very expensive. So we give a more affordable, convenient alternative to that. And lastly, kind of the biggest problem that we've realized over time that we're solving is the issue of getting care for elderly patients. So a lot of elderly parents or grandparents can be often bedridden or immobile. It's very time-consuming and expensive to get them to a clinic or hospital. So, again, we bring affordable, convenient services to their home and are able to give their families much-needed peace of mind. So that's kind of really what motivates us, kind of solving these problems and helping out these families throughout Malaysia.
You mentioned it's Uber for doctors, but I imagine there should also be a little element of Tinder in there, in that you have to kind of match, hopefully, the right doctor to the right need. How do you do that? What process do I need to go through in order to make sure that the doctor who's going to come is somebody that I can have rapport with, firstly, but is also more or less the right person for the problem I have?
We actually launched a new feature starting September 1st called Select Your Doctor. So now when you request a doctor, it'll send a push notification to all the doctors within a 20-kilometer radius. Those doctors have the option to accept the case, and when they do, they'll show up on a list on your app. You'll be able to pick and choose your doctor, so it'll show their specialty, the hospital they work in, their name, which you can kind of generate what type of languages they'll know. So a lot of patients, if they're, for example, elderly Chinese and they only know Chinese, they'll want a Chinese doctor. And also, it lets you kind of, if you really liked a doctor that you've had in the past, it'll let you see if that doctor is available and you can choose them on the list. So it helps make the app more personalized and really lets you be your own boss when you're selecting the doctor.
So take us through the experience of the app. I mean, what services do you offer? How would I access it? So if I open the app, what would I be looking at?
We offer the general services that any house call doctor will offer. It's for mild to moderate illnesses or injuries. So right when you open the app, after you log in, you'll see our services page that shows what services we cover. So we cover illness, injury, skin disease. We also do health checks, physicals, and pediatric care. So once you choose your service, you'll be brought to location page. So just like Uber, it'll automatically pick up your location. And you also have the option to type in an address if you're, for example, requesting a doctor for your parents in your hometown. And it also lets you choose the gender of the doctor. So you can pick male or female or priority if you just want a doctor now and don't care the gender. After that, you just have to put in your details, your symptoms, your age, your days of illness, what your symptoms are, if you have any allergies. And then once you hit the Select Your Doctor button, it'll send out the push notification of the doctors. All the available doctors will show up on the list. You get to look at each one's profile and choose what doctor you're most comfortable with. And once you've confirmed the doctor, it'll show their confirmed details as well as their contact information. So at this point, the doctor will be calling up the patient to confirm their symptoms, confirm their location, and let them know how long it'll be. So if they're 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away. And then once the doctor has treated the patient and it's over, we give the option to rate the doctor and give any feedback. So this is another way that we're able to kind of do quality control so that, if any doctors do get any bad feedback, we can immediately talk to them, and if necessary, we can ban them from the app. So that's another way we kind of make sure we have quality doctors. In addition to that, we actually just launched this week a new feature called Live Chat. So that lets you consult a doctor for free, and it gives people kind of an easy and free screening process to make sure to see if your condition really requires a doctor to come see you. It also really increases the accessibility of Doctor2U to anyone in need of a doctor consultation by making it free. And so we're really trying to give our customers a complete healthcare experience. We think this is an important first step, and we look forward to releasing more features like this.
And how do you enlist the doctors who are a part of Doctor2U?
So we have a team that recruits doctors in clinics and hospitals throughout Malaysia, but we give the doctors kind of a way to earn extra income and, work in their free time just like Uber drivers. So our doctors are generally really excited to join our panel, and as you said, we have over 700 doctors on our panel now throughout Malaysia, so we really are relying less now on the recruiting as more doctors sign up just from word of mouth because they talk to their friends and their families, and people are really starting to know our name and our brand throughout Malaysia. And doctors want to earn extra income, so, it's kind of a win-win for everyone.
What is your coverage area? When we're talking about 700 doctors, are there spots where they're particularly concentrated? Yeah,
so the majority are in Klang Valley, but we cover all major cities in Malaysia. We're still expanding, and we're also expanding internationally. So we've been meeting with major hospital groups in Singapore and Thailand, hoping to expand there within year-end. And the reason we want to partner with these big hospital groups is because in Malaysia, we have the backing of BP Healthcare Group. We have that name, which gives customer confidence. They know us, and they know the quality of care that we give in Malaysia. We're a little less known internationally, so that's why we want to partner with big names to get the supply of doctors and really get the confidence from the consumers.
So overall, business is going okay then?
Yeah, it's growing very strong month over month, and we're seeing more and more requests in cities all over the place in Malaysia, so it's really exciting. And we've also actually partnered with Zurich Insurance, so not long after we launched last October, they actually approached us because they saw Doctor2U as a real value-added service that it can kind of be a wow factor for their customers, something people haven't seen before. So they actually incorporated Doctor2U into one of their new personal accident plans. It's called the Zurich Active Living Plan, and that launched on July 20th this year. So we're working with other major insurance providers and TPAs to come up with similar products to kind of expand our reach and bring our services to as many people as we can.
So as you're seeing more pickup from doctors, are you also seeing more pickup from users, from potential patients?
Yeah, definitely. As we said, not only with the doctors, but, with customers, I think more and more people are kind of talking about Doctor2U and hearing about it. And especially with this live chat feature, it's just another reason to kind of interact with our app. And it's especially since it's free, it's just this value-added service that anyone can use and tell your friends about. So we've been seeing more and more transactions and more usage of our app. So it's very exciting.
Have there been any success stories that have stood out to you in the time that Doctor2U's been running?
I think what excites and motivates us most is hearing the experiences and the feedback from our customers. So one story that comes to mind was actually a somewhat well-known columnist for The Star. So she actually ordered a doctor through Doctor2U for her 89-year-old father. And, in the article she wrote, she ordered it in desperation. She really needed someone to come let her know if her dad really needed to be sent to a hospital or if he was okay. When our doctor got there, as soon as she saw the patient, she knew he needed to be admitted to the hospital and immediately called an ambulance for him. And she wrote a touching article about the experience, and unfortunately her father passed away later that night in the hospital. But it was just kind of a very public example of people using our app in real life, and especially in this case, not having to make families make the judgment call of whether or not, someone's life is in danger, and kind of being that middle ground where we can advise patients and get them the right care as soon as possible.
You mentioned hopefully growing into other countries. What else does the future hold for Doctor2U?
We have a lot of new features coming out in the next few months, and we want to really just be a comprehensive platform for any healthcare-related services to your doorstep. And we think, our technology integration with kind of the brick and mortar of BP, we think that's really just an amazing combination. And, one example of that is one patient, I think he ordered Doctor2U since he had a fever and a headache. The doctor showed up, I think, around 2 p.m., took a blood test to check for dengue, dropped drop the blood test off at the nearest BP outlet, and by 5 p.m. we were able to email the patient the results, and there's no one else that can bring that kind of service and that type of seamless customer experience. So we want to just keep replicating that and adding new features to make this technology platform as accessible to as many people and as many services as possible.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
I've been speaking today with Keegan Flynn about Doctor2U. He is, of course, its CFO, and we've been discussing what it feels like to get a doctor on demand to come to your house. You've been listening today to Health and Living on The Bigger Picture, BFM 89.9.
The Marketplace on BFM 89.9. Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.